Hello students, you are welcome to class. Today we'll be looking at tools for economic analysis. In economics, theories are made, assumptions are put up, human behaviors and some other things and theories are also recommended. In this video, we'll be looking at how we can make use of some tools to analyze theories. These tools, they are tables, charts, graph. They measure central tendency, especially the group data, which is the mean, median, and mode, the standard deviation, and so on and so forth. We shall be looking at how we can use these tools to analyze views. Now, the first tools we are going to be looking at, that is the graph. That is the graph. What is graph? Graph may be defined as a functional relationship between two variables. When we talk about this, then we're talking about trying to explain what transpires between two variables, maybe variables like price and quantity demanded. Now, what are the major rules for construction of graph? When you are constructing graph to explain relationship between two variables, like I've told you, variables like price and quantity demanded, what are those things you consider? Like I told you, the first thing we'll be looking at, that is the title. A clear title should be shown on your graph. For instance, maybe you want to tell us that this graph represents the temperature check of students in a selected school. Apart from that too, the footnote, just at the foot of your graph that is describing the purpose of that graph too, should be well stated. Not only that, in constructing a good graph, the axis, line, and bars must be properly labeled. Maybe you have x-axis and y-axis, like in economics. Maybe you have the price axis, you have the quantity demanded axis. All these has to be shown. A good graph should be properly scaled. You should show your scale properly. Maybe you are using 5 centimeter to represent 2 units. Maybe you are using your 10 centimeter to represent 5 units. It should be clearly stated. Then the unit of measurement should be stated too. That has to go with labeling your graph. Maybe you are measuring the temperature check, maybe in degrees centigrade. You are measuring quantity of certain consumer goods, maybe in kilogram. It has to be stated. Not only that one, let's quickly look at features of a good graph. Features of a good graph. One of the features of a good graph is that a good graph should have a clear and comprehensive title. Like I have earlier on said, you describe what the purpose of the graph. Is it telling us of the test score of selected school or of selected students in a particular school? Then the vertical axis and the y-axis should be well stated, telling us the variables you are trying to compare. Then your graph should be drawn to scale. Then a unit of measurement, like I have earlier said, should be stated. Sometimes the source of the data presented should also be presented. It should be stated clearly. Correct scale should be used. The horizontal axis must be for a maximum, must be X number, while the vertical axis must be for you to number too, maybe Y, depending on the way you want to label it and in relation to the question you are asked to handle. The coordinate should be clearly shown. The coordinate that explains the relationship between the two variables. Let's say you are asked to plot a graph telling us of the relationship between price and quantity demanded. As you use your table to plot the relationship between these two variables, the coordinate should be well stated in your graph. Now, let's quickly look at, then another thing before I forget, that is your graph must be properly labeled, including the variables and their units. All these things should be stated. Now, what are the major uses or importance of graph in economics? Graph shows relationship between two variables like I've mentioned. It aids understanding and presentation of data. Graph is the basis of comparison of variables. It aids presentation of data because when we have enormous data, through graph you can easily look at what transpired between two variables x and y, what transpired between price and quantity demanded in the market. Graph shows how values of one changes given changes in the value of other variables. That is to tell us that graph is important in economic analysis. Now, let's quickly look at examples of graphical presentation of data in economics. How do we use a graph to present data? The first tools, example of such graph that we use in economics to present data, to present fields. You know, we have laws and principles in economics. We can use all these tools that we'll be describing to analyze such data. Now, example of such graphs are line graph, we have the bar graph, we have the pictogram, we have pie graph, and so on and so forth. Graph can also be described as one of the basic tools used by the economist for economics analysis. Now, let's see each example of all these tools that we use in economics to analyze data. The first one we'll be looking at, that is the bar chart. Bar chart. What is bar chart? Bar chart consists of rectangles, all with the same proportion to the frequencies of the items in the data. It shows the quantity of data in the form of bars. Bar chart enables magnitude to be compared virtually. It should be noted that charts have the width. It has the width separated by equal gaps. Example of such bar chart, we have the simple bar chart, component bar chart, then we also have the multiple bar chart. We'll be looking at each of them in this video series. Now, the first one, that is the simple bar chart. What is simple bar chart? It is the simplest form of representing data by bars. When data involve only one category, then simple bar charts are used to analyze views. Bars may be drawn horizontally or vertically, and each bar indicates the magnitude of the corresponding data. When we talk about the simple bar chart, like I told you, they are bars of different lengths of the same width that are drawn to represent information. Like we have on this table, where we have months of the year represented. In the charts, we have the bars, we have the months represented, then we have the other axis too, where information are also represented, explaining views. Even though of different lengths, they have equal width. That means when you are drawing your simple bar chart, you have to make use of your ruler to scale it in such a way that whoever that is looking at that diagram will know that you know what you are doing. The space in between them, if you want to make it 1 centimeter from your ruler, let it be 1 centimeter all through. The only thing is that their lengths may vary because they represent different view. The second one I'll be talking about That is the multiple bar chart. Multiple bar chart. The multiple bar charts are also referred to as compound bar chart. Here, two or more bars are separately represented. The chart group two or more bar chart together or side by side represent data. Now, in multiple bar chart, information are also represented with different, they are represented in different and varied bars, but they are played side by side each other. Like we can see in the diagram, we have the color blue placed together with red and yellow, representing an information. That is multiple bar chart. It can be that for a given, it can be now, like I was saying it, that in your multiple bar chart, we have information more than one or two represented in different bars, and they are placed side by side each other. Let's look at the third type of chart. The third type of chart, that is the component bar chart. In component bar chart, we are talking about the kind of bar chart used to show the division of an item into constituent parts. A bar may contain two or more component bars. This makes comparison very easy. Now let's quickly look at pie chart. Pie chart. What is pie chart? This is a form of categorized or percentage distribution. A pie chart is a circle divided into sectors whose angles are proportional to the frequency of the items. The whole circle is 360 degrees and it is measured using protractor. Now, when we talk about pie chart, to construct it is the major thing. When you are given your pie chart, the first thing I want to quickly tell you is that you are given a table or you are given a sort of data, you have to represent it in a pie chart. The first thing you should do is that you add up your total. Like we have a table here, you add up the total number of the information given to you. When you add it up, you now pick each individual items or data given to you in that question divided by the total number of frequency that you have added up in the first instance. You multiply everything by 360 degrees. And we explain that aspect again. In constructing your pie chart, the first thing you do on the table, add up the total number of the figure or the frequency given to you. Then pick each of the items. Use each of the items, divide it by the total number of the frequency you have, multiply by 360 degrees, like we have on this table now, giving us, the frequency of a color that we have available. Like we have blue, that is 6, yellow, we have 10, and so on and so forth like that. So what you just do, for instance, like I've said, add up the total number of the total number of the colors given to you, like in this case now, 6 plus 10 plus 4 plus 5 plus 8 plus 7. Everything amounted to 40 degree. Now, to now calculate in degree each of the color, for blue now, which is 6 over 40, which is the total, times 360 degree, then you'll be having your 54 degree. That is how you calculate it for each of them to convert them to degree. Now, if you are converting to percentage, that means you pick each of the items, like I said, which is 6 over 40, times 100 if you are converting to percentage. And to construct your pie chart, I will after this video presentation, I will send a link to you where you can practice how to construct your pie chart. That too is very simple. It's about getting your protractor, get your compass and your pencil sharpened. Put your pencil inside your compass. Make sure the mouth of your compass is in the same level with the mouth of your pencil. Then get a selected point. At that selected point, put your compass there. When you get that center, then move your compass round to draw a circle. After you've done that, place your protractor at the center where you put your compass, that point. Then from there you see the various degree from 90 like that. Then you measure each of what you have calculated from the items to construct your pie chart. The last but not the least in this video series, that is pictogram. Pictogram. What is pictogram? These are pictorial diagrams in which data are presented by pictures. Data are presented using picture. The essence of this kind of chart is to obtain information at a glance. If you are given an enormous figure, for you to quickly get it at a glance without stress, then we talk about pictogram. Take for instance on this table, like we have on Monday, where we have about 5 cake, and we have been told that each cup represents 6 cups. So for you to know the total number of cake for Monday, that would be 6 times 5. 6 times 5, that will give you how many like that? 30 cups of cake. That is how you calculate for each. Then for this one will be giving us, this is 6 cups of cake. That will be giving us 6 plus 6. You know, for Tuesday it is half of the cake, 2.5. Then that will be 6 plus 6 plus 2.5. And 6 plus 6 is 12. 12 plus 3, that will give us 15 cups of cake. For that of Wednesday, we have how many cups of cake there? That is 4. 6 plus 6 plus 6, that's 24 cups of cake. Then on Thursday too, we have about 3.5. That will be 6 plus 6 plus 6, that's 9. Plus half of the cake, which is 3. Then we have 12. For Friday, that is how it will go. In pictogram, there is nothing much there. You only use a diagram too to see an information at a glance without stress. All these basic tools that has been described, we use them in economics to analyze data. I want you to note this. The pictogram are used to represent a simple information. Pictograms are pictures drawn to represent certain views. Now, let's quickly have a look at table. Table. What is a table? A table is one of the important tools used in economics analysis. A table is a methodological and orderly arrangement of information using rows and columns for presenting, which makes it easy for quick understanding. Like I told you in pictogram the other time, all these tools, they are used to represent information so that you can easily access them at a glance. For instance, if you look at the table that we have here, we have rain years. that is between 1 to 15. We have 18 as the frequency. 16 to 30, 11 as the frequency. 31 to 45, 6 as the frequency. 46 to 60, 4 as the frequency. 61 to 75, 1 as the frequency. And don't forget that we have the tally represented. In your tally, we have bundles of 5 representing, about 5 items representing a bundle. So like for that 18, that will be, you make the 5th one, to cover up a bundle. That is how you do to get your tally. Let's see guideline for constructing a table. To construct table in economics, the table should not be complex. It should be simple and easy for people to understand at a glance. Tables should be drawn in such a way that they can easily be understood. The unit of measurement should not be mixed up. If it's in kilogram, it should be stated. If it's in centimeter, it should be stated. If the table is talking about currency in a country, for instance, in Nigeria, maybe Naira, maybe in America, we're talking about dollar, it should be well stated. A clear title should be given to the table, maybe table representing the price of goods and services in a selected country. Like I said that it should have a clear title. The information should not be ambiguous. The data should be clearly presented for easy understanding. The source of information should be properly stated. Like I've said, a table must be numbered if there are many. Maybe we talk about table 1.1, table 1.2, table 3, and so on and so forth. Is table relevant at all in economics analysis? Table assists us to understand the information presented at a glance. It helps in systematic arrangement of data. Table prevents repetition because the fact and the figure will have been presented. Decision making is made easier with the use of table, as one will be able to make prediction based on the available data. It helps in proper arrangement of data. Table helps in data interpretation, as the time and energy that will have been wasted on reading scattered information is spared. Table presents relationship between variables like price of goods and services, variables like income of people and quantity demanded. Thank you.